I have known nothing but pain for the better part of my life. Yes, I have smiled occasionally, but these rare moments always left a sour taste in my mouth. For I knew my apparent joy was nothing but self-deception. To a slave, happiness was like a stream of smoke in the sky, vanishing with the softest wind. I spent my childhood in a constant state of silent acquiescence, and even as a young adult, I did not question my fate nor aspire for anything more than the food on my plate. Of course, like all humans subjected to my plight, I have had rebellious bouts. The voice of defiance has whispered in my ears as I toiled in the scorching sun. But I had no steadfast resolve beyond a mere desire for revenge. I had no true purpose until that yearning for freedom took root in my soul like a fragile seedling. I was born an orphan, a misfit, an anomaly of sorts, yet the elders, the mages, and even the awakens said they knew my folks very well. They spoke of a land across the seas where my people ran free and wild. They insisted I was of royal blood, and that my mother was a queen. I was only 7 years old when the question first found me. Who was my mother? I noticed the way eyes shifted when I asked about her, how silence stretched just a little too long. Every day, I begged the old mages for my mother's name, and every day they shooed me away like a nuisance. I dared not call them liars to their faces for claiming to know my mother, but liars, I thought to myself as soon as they turned their backs. Long-bearded liars limping around with their walking canes, my thoughts grew louder with each rejection until they stopped being mere thoughts, until I could no longer hold my tongue.
Liars.
Child! Have you forgotten yourself?
I am sorry, Papa, but why won't they even tell me my mother's name? I deserve to know who my parents were. I deserve to know who I am.
How old are you again?
This year will be my 7th coffee harvest.
Ah, 7. Yes, it's time. You need to know about your folks, but you can't call the elders liars.
I am sorry.
That's fine. Tonight I will tell you about your mother. Listen, child, I knew your folks well. I was only a boy when I met your grandmother.
You still remember things from when you were a boy?
I do. And you will too when you are my age. You will remember the important things. Anyhow, your grandmother's name was Ezili, the first of her name. She was the product of many miracles, one of which was the storm that claimed the lives of her entire family but spared her.
Quick! Quick! To higher ground! The huts are collapsing!
Check by the river and see if anyone is alive. Over here! Your grandmother grew radiant and smart, properly loved by the family who rescued her. She often walked around barefoot, laughing, playing with birds and butterflies. When she came of age to wed, her adoptive folks, unable to pay her dowry, sent her into the village to seek a better life. Her smile opened many doors behind which awaited opportunities that most girls of her standing would not even dare to dream of. She was only 20 years old when the royal family of Dahomey employed her services as a handmaid to the queen.
Where is Dahomey?
A land far, far away. Your home.
No, my home is here.
This place is not your home, child. How can this be your home if you are not even welcome here? Your very existence is forced on the white men by their inescapable necessities.
What does inescapable mean?
Be quiet and pay attention. You ask too many questions. Your grandmother stepped through the towering gates of the royal courtyard and found herself in a world far greater than anything she had ever imagined. The air itself felt different, thick with incense, and her heart raced as her gaze climbed the towering walls adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to whisper stories of warriors and kings. Every sound wrapped around her senses, making her feel both impossibly small and deeply honored to stand where so few ever could. She moved through her duties with quiet diligence, never allowing fatigue or doubt to show. Her hands were always steady, and her steps were always measured. To her, even the smallest task was a privilege, and she carried them out with gratitude, content simply to belong within those sacred walls. She met your grandfather, the young Prince Damballah, soon after she entered the service of the Dahomey Queen. They grew fond of each other. They often wandered through the royal garden in secret, leaving the world behind and forgetting about all impediments to their growing romance. They talked and laughed, watering the roots of an affection that grew with each passing day. But one day, their affection was discovered, and the Dahomean mages lost their minds. Sacrilege, they screamed.
This is unacceptable. They must not be allowed to continue.
How could a fisherman's daughter ever be allowed with the prince? This was unacceptable. The seers and the mages gathered. They read bad omens in the birds and forbade the union.
Papa, how could love be a bad omen?
Love can be everything, a blessing, a curse, or sometimes both at once. Now quit interrupting. You will make me forget things. Where was I? Yes. Your grandmother and Damballah ignored the mages' warnings. Rebels in their souls, they ran off into the countryside, where Cabo, an outcast mage, married them secretly before the old gods. The marriage news enraged the king,
but he did not dare undo a union that had taken the old gods as witnesses. With great reluctance, he welcomed the young couple back to court. Yet for weeks, the tension in the royal court hung in the air. Whispers could be heard throughout the corridors. Courtiers leaned into one another at every corner. Yet Ezili walked those halls with her head unbowed. Even as her belly swelled with new life, she remained untouched by the scornful stares, for she was not alone. Damballah stood by her. He often let his hand run over the swell of her belly, and he smiled as if they did not need words to understand each other. She was adorned, protected, and provided for beyond any noble woman's dream. Midwives trailed her like shadows, ever watchful, ever ready, up until the day she was ready to give birth.
How do you know all these things? Were you there, Papa?
Maledve. Shall I gag you so you can stop interrupting me?
Good. As I was saying, the midwives tended to your grandmother with the utmost care as her time drew near. The day her water broke, a silence fell over the entire royal palace, as if even the walls held their breath. The midwives rushed her into their quarters and closed the curtains. We could do nothing but wait and wait. Then at last, a faint cry pierced the silence. Your mother had been born. The court erupted in joy, and Damballah ran to the tent, eager to embrace his wife and behold his daughter. But the moment he stepped inside, his joy faded. Although I was not within the midwife's quarters to witness it myself, it is said that Damballah stood utterly still. His grief seemed to swallow every sound around him. His hair and beard turned ashen within minutes, and still he did not weep. His face remained set in despair as he stood at the edge of a world in which he no longer belonged. Nothing could have taken away his pain, not even the innocent face of his infant daughter, your mother. So he exiled himself through the dunes beyond Dahomey Falls, condemning his soul to suffer in loneliness. And in doing so, he left your mother all alone. Your mother was raised within the king's court, surrounded by gracious courtiers. Bards composed songs in honor of her eyes. Her presence seemed to bring light and delight to those around her. But she, herself, was rarely joyous. She once confided in me that she carried a heavy burden. She believed herself responsible for her mother's death and her father's absence. She was only 18 when the white men came in their sea beasts. They plundered the villages from Cotonou to Dahomey Falls, dragging men, women, and children onto their boats.
¡Vueltenca! ¡Cabo!
Sujétala bien. Aquí no hay escapatoria.
Your mother was amongst the people they took, and so was I.
But my mother was strong, wasn't she?
Yes, she was strong. Very strong.
But her resilience became her curse. The white men came looking for her night after night during the crossing. By the time the ship reached the Bay of Port-au-Prince, I saw her glassy eyes, and I knew then that she was broken. She had aged beyond her years, shuffling with chains around her ankles, gazing into nothingness like an empty vessel. Yet, although her soul may have been empty, her body was not. She carried you in her belly.
I am tired, Papa. Can I go to sleep now?
Quiet! You will sit here. You will listen. And you will remember every word I have spoken. You must understand your roots in order to become who you are destined to be. Without your history, you are nothing.
Now, about your birth. The day you came into this world was the most beautiful day of spring. Hours before sunset, a full moon rose into the sky. It was the first time I'd ever seen the sun and moon share a sky. As the slaves returned from the fields, axes resting on their shoulders, a piercing wail tore through the air from the midwife's tent. Then, without warning, a curtain of darkness enveloped the sky. Thunder split the heavens open, and lightning seared across the eastern clouds. Rain battered the roofs of the slaves' quarters, turning the earth to mud, carrying away bedding and the few belongings we had left. And still, your mother's cries rose above it all. She screamed for what felt like an eternity, her voice fierce enough to challenge the storm itself. Then suddenly, the screaming ceased.
What do you name her? Ezili Freda, third of her name. The spirits will guide her.
There. Now you know all there was to know about your mother. You can go to sleep now. But don't ever forget that you are a child of the storm.
Exaggerations, I said to myself as I got up to go back to my hut, but I dared not say that to Papa Kumanike. He would have surely killed me. Although I did not believe the grandiose tales surrounding my birth, it did not matter what I believed, because the elders at the Vicario plantation had all agreed that I was royalty, a child of the old gods, a child of Dahomey. It was decided that I controlled the caprices of Sogbo and Hevioso, the thunder gods. They saw my opulent appearance and said, "Obaluma, bless me." They saw my light skin and argued my father was Dinklinson, the fair-skinned god. Some of them said that, despite my mixed skin, I was a wealth of beauty. Others said I was a wealth of beauty because of my skin. Still, the mages were free to believe what they pleased, but even at a young age, I saw my reality for what it was. I was the aftermath of my mother's misfortune, and my lighter tone was nothing but a vestige of the savagery done to her. Misery was my plight, and my destiny was to suffer.